Hi, I'm Andrea Messersmith. I'm here with Alanna Castora, who is my teacher, my student. How many years ago?
Wow, 2007.
2007. Oh my goodness,
Yes.
in fourth grade.
Yes.
In fourth grade. I'm here at Miwok Valley, and this is my 15th year of teaching, and my third year, I think, of teaching second grade. So I see our next question, my journey to becoming a teacher. Well, that's kind of funny. My mother was a teacher and taught first grade for, I don't know, like a million years, like 25. And then she became a principal down in the San Jose area. And she always said to me, I won't use my family nickname. She always said to me, Andrea, don't you want to teach? And I said, well, I'm not feeling that I want to teach. And she always said, it's wonderful. When you teach, you're like a queen in your own classroom. You just shut that door, and that is your class. So it doesn't exactly work that way now. So when I got my BA in English, I still didn't have a thought about teaching. And it was funny because my sister is a teacher, my grandmother was a teacher. I come from a long line of teachers. But I got that BA, and that summer it was like I woke up, boom, I want to teach. And to me, teaching is very important, and I'm Catholic. And when you're Catholic, we talk a lot when we're young about the calling. Usually it's a call to religious service, but we kind of think that way about what we do in life. And I felt called to teach. And then I just hurried through the coursework and got myself as quickly as I could into a classroom. I mean, I knew thoroughly that that was what I wanted to do in life. It was so funny because not a real thought before then. But I think, before then I was raising my child, and that was just wonderful to have those years with him. I think I didn't really have to go to back to work for a long time. I just had those years with him.
That's
so
great.
it kind of worked out,
Yeah.
What inspired me to become a teacher? It had to be my mother. She was a wonderful teacher, and people just loved my mother, and she loved little children. And I think that gets instilled in you.
Definitely.
And I saw my mother's love for children every day. I'll tell you this story. We were in a bank, and it was the 1950s, and there was a long line at the bank. And the woman in front of us had a Down syndrome child. Now, I don't know if you know this, but in those days, back in the 50s, people kept, their children with disabilities. They didn't bring them out in public very often.
Oh,
In
really?
fact, it wasn't until Roy Rogers and Dale Evans had a Down syndrome child and would take her publicly into all these arenas that people began to understand they're just lovely children, just like all of the children. But this woman in the line in front of my mother, she had her baby and she had her pocketbook, and she was trying to get out whatever she needed, and everyone was just kind of this way, just kind of holding back. My mother, this is just my mother. She just, oh, let me hold that baby. She was that way around a baby. Oh, let me take that baby. And I remember she said that woman was a little startled, because no one had ever asked to hold her baby before.
Right.
So, but that was my mom. So my mom, even that she passed away in 1992, still remains that constant inspiration.
That's so funny because my mom does daycare, and every day there's little kids running around her house, and I've it's like, oh my gosh, another kid I have to deal with, and but it's been like that, and I've always had love for little children, just always. I think I'm pretty good with kids, and playing with them, and even today, with the class, I actually felt like this was the first time I connected with them and actually helped them. Yeah. And I was looking around, it almost made me think maybe this is something I want to do. So it's pretty interesting. I think that's kind of how it happens.
Yeah. You have some experiences, and that teaching kind of works on you. It's a wonderful life. Between the two of us, teaching is a wonderful life. Yeah, my favorite thing about teaching is what happened today. We were writing poems about winter, and you could see we had a lot of children at the outset. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. Is really hard. And we did the same thing. We ran around and we encouraged. Oh my God, that's such a beautiful word. Oh, that's a sentence. Oh, look who wrote this. And pretty soon, by the end of the day, I think they all felt like
Oh,
Shakespeare.
definitely. Matthew kept coming up to me and he was like, "Look," and he's like drawing all these pictures.
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah, see, you can do
Right,
it."
right.
Yeah.
You just you build their skills, yes, but you build the child.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Yes.
and to give them even that little bit to take in life.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember my 7th grade teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and in the dark days, I would look back on Sister Alberta and the things that she had said to me, and even as an adult, it raised me up.
Oh yeah.
It just raised me up.
Definitely.
What subject keeps their attention the most? Well, I shouldn't say art, but it's art because it's so creative.
Yeah.
And it's just such an intense creative endeavor with constant decision making.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't imagine a classroom without art. I've never had a classroom without Friday art.
That's what I remember too most. I
Of
think
course
that's
you
why,
do.
of
I
course,
know.
yeah, fourth
Yeah.
grade. I remember the videos you would show us, and
Uh-huh.
then we would recreate
Right.
everything. And
Right.
I think freshman year, I don't know if you got my letter, but I wrote you a letter from.
I did, but my heart was so full with that letter, and I thought I'm not even going to be able to respond. I was speechless.
No, yeah, but you definitely have been like, and I think that is why, because art, and you know, before I've like always loved, like I like to sing, and I'm pretty good at doodling. Like, I mean, I'm good at like copying a picture, but you know, but art, I definitely think like speaks to children and makes them be like more expressive about themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
And, yeah, definitely. Without art that year, I don't think. I mean, it would have been the same because that year was the year that my parents got divorced, and I definitely think like coming to class, like I just was like, oh yes, art day, like we can do it, and I was just like always so happy. So I just thank you for that.
Oh. Well, whatever artistic endeavor, if it's writing or whatever it is, I mean that's the soul of a person,
right? Yeah,
you know what I mean. And there's no life you can live that doesn't have a touch of the artistic in it. Even if you're setting the table for the family at Christmas or Thanksgiving, that's an artistic endeavor. You know, definitely. Even if you're just driving around and appreciating nature, that's an artistic endeavor, and it saves us. At times.
Yes, definitely,
it saves us.
Definitely, I believe that.
What's the most difficult part about teaching? Some of our children have not just sad but tragic lives. Tragic lives, and I was just discussing one of those lives with the secretary right before I walked in, and sometimes you just cry. You just cry. I mean, so young, 7 years old, and you see that, you know, why does a 7-year-old have to bear so much? And then I think, and we're in a nice part of the world where it's pretty stable and there is no war. And then when you think about those other children, that's the hard part about teaching, because our life is like centered in children.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
In what way do you and your students relate the most? You know, it is, I have to say, it's through the artistic endeavor. And then they will trust you in the hard part, which is math.
Yeah.
You build that inroad of trust, and then they will follow you. And you know, I try to keep a happy, positive outlook in the classroom, and sometimes I'm crabby. And then as an adult, I think they need to see the example that sometimes you are crabby, and you apologize. You say, "Gosh, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't act very nice yesterday," and you're human about it.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
And you give children that example. Honesty. Yeah. We all kind of make a mistake once in a while. We do. Has technology been an advantage or a disadvantage? Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the community for passing the bond that brought all this tech into our classroom, and it is fabulous. And this is the life of our children, and of all people from now on is this technology. But I'm older, and it's frustrating, and I don't always know how to make it work. And the children are very sweet. Mrs. Smith, just slide.
Yeah.
Slide. 2 fingers, Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's actually kind of scary. Like, I was watching one of the kids today on the computer, and he was, like, going super fast. I'm like, okay, when I was that age, I didn't even know, like, what a keyboard was. I was just, like, you know, doing my thing. And it's so, it's very, especially even my nephew, he's only 4, but he takes my phone and he starts doing stuff with it, and I'm like, I didn't even know I could do that.
Yeah.
Like it's very. I mean, it's amazing and it's scary at the same time. Just how fast.
It's amazing and it's scary at the same time.
Just how fast, like everyone can just.
I had a child who was reluctant to write, and I said, "Well, what'd you do over Christmas?" He said, "Oh, not much. I made a video about angry birds on my mother's phone." I said, "You what?
Right?
You what?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
it's crazy."
Yeah, and you know, I wanted him to write, but I mean, even that stuff is kind of going out the door now. It's a new kind of creativity.
Yeah.
It's a new kind of communication. So technology, you know, so I persevere. I increase my skills incrementally, but I have to do it. I have to do it for them.
Oh yeah,
it has to happen.
Definitely this age. Totally.
How do you think the Pen Pals project will affect both you? We love the Pen Pals project.
It's so great.
Mrs. James and I saw each other last week. There was something for all the teachers in the district. We were, you know, saying how excited and how we were going to keep it up and when we're going to meet and what we will do next year. And I don't know why I didn't think of it myself. It is just the coolest. It gives the children someone real to communicate with, you know, plus all the writing skills and the art that goes into it, but this real sense of purpose in communication.
Exactly.
So I think it's like, and the only thing was I just felt bad because Miss Steiner's class didn't get to do it. We always try to, you know, but we'll find a team for her next year too. But I think it was a brilliant idea.
Great,
and I thank you for that.
Of course. And it's good because even kids that I met when I was younger and I saw them in 7th grade, I'm like, I remember you. And it's like you like get that bond and it's like you remember back to like how it was and it's just crazy.
Because in junior high and high school then, it's like the big mix.
Exactly. And it's like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can talk to you or not. And then it's like you bond with that person. It's like, I remember you.
Yeah. And those are the years when you need backup.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
So I thank you so much, Alanna. It's been wonderful.
I agree.
Yeah. And we ended on this wonderful
this is a
bright
perfect
note.
day to do this. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Great.